many of you will probably know him. If not, then check him out. It's the only one, LiveOverflow.
Hi.
He's the one with the 2-hour or 3-hour video about the Google CTF from 2 weeks ago, I think, 3 weeks. But we will talk later about that. So we will jump to the first question. Did you went to college, or did you just learned everything from YouTube or self-learning?
I mean, both. I went to college, but college didn't like really teach much about security stuff. So I did a dual study program in computer science for my bachelor's degree. And then after that, I did a master's degree at the Technical University of Berlin, also in just computer science. At my master's degree, there were some security courses, but at the time I was already I was even working already in security at the time I went to my master's. So before that, I, learned stuff on my own on the side.
It's really nice that you learned on your own, besides school, of course. And you say that you also have a job when you were in college. And what was that kind of job, if you can tell us about it?
It's actually the same one I still have. It's the one thing that I actually earn my money with, because YouTube I don't do like full time or anything like that. I do like penetration testing, code audits, mostly web application security stuff, as a freelancer. So I do this like project based, very flexible work and stuff like that. And so I started doing that just before I went to my master's degree.
So you kindly did YouTube your entire life, if I am correct.
Wait, what?
You did YouTube as a job your entire life for now.
Well,
or most part of it, of course not.
I mean, I've been doing like YouTube for 5 years, but it's far from being my job. It doesn't pay that well.
Oh, not? I was expecting you really earn a lot with it, because you have much views, much followers. But
I'm happy to share with you like what you can earn, but I can tell you that as a professional security person, or even as a professional developer, your salary is way higher than what you can earn on YouTube. So stay in school and get a normal job.
Well, everyone who's listening, follow that advice. It's so you are doing development right now, and
no. I do like security audits, like pen testing, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And are you also going to do OSVE, or do you already have OSVE, or is it on your list to do, perhaps, or
is that I know OSCP, I don't know OS.
Oh, it's the offensive security web.
I have no clue. No, I have the OSCP. I did that during my bachelor's degree because the company I worked for was paid for it. They paid for any certification, and a lot of other people did like Java programming certifications or system administration certifications, and I stumbled over OSCP and they paid for that. But generally, I'm not doing like any certifications and have not done anything since then. And I don't know what's out there. I don't think I need it.
Well, it's nice that your job paid for OSP. You don't hear that a lot, that they want to pay for students.
Yeah, that was a cool program. I have to agree. That was really nice.
Yeah, it's good to hear that companies finally are going to offer that to students. Well, mostly they only offer that to full-time employees, but it's nice that they do. The next question. You went to college. Did you also perhaps hack anything on college, or accidentally did something that you thought, I should not have done that?
No, not in school or anything. Like nothing, like no software website like from school stuff. I mean, I was like doing security on the side a little bit. Like I was mainly doing development stuff. I was into coding and programming and stuff. But if you are very like if you get experience with programming, once in a while you always stumble over some security thing. And in school, for example, I stumbled over the existence of SQL injections, and I remember doing a school presentations about SQL injections to my class. So I was like doing security stuff in school and like kind of like was a bit exposed, but I was not actually like go do anything on like school websites or anything like that.
It's nice that you explains SQL injections to your class. I think that makes the learning for your own also great, as you need to explain the process and the technique behind. Yeah.
I also remember that, you know, I went to a technical school, so we only had like coding classes, so, you know, nothing with security. It was just something that I found myself being interested in, and I asked if I can make a project about that rather than just some coding stuff. So also cool that teachers, you know, allowed for some flexibility.
That's really nice from them, that they also allow you to, of course, go a little bit outside the what they want, so you can experience the security part also. And of course, for web development or whatever development you're doing, security is always a big thing. It will always the next question. Why did you join the infosec field eventually? Are there any reasons behind it, or you just really enjoy it?
Yeah, I mean, like it was just fun to me. You know, I mean, there's like two times of joining, right? Like there's first of all just me getting into security like privately, just enjoying it, and then me getting a job in security. So the first one was just I stumbled over CTFs and war games, and I started doing that. And that I would say is like my start really in security. Like I said, even in school, I had some exposure to like SQL injections. Once in a while, I would find some stuff, but I wasn't like focused on security or had any way to learn stuff. I was mainly doing programming and coding, but finding CTFs, this was like, I think early 2012. This was when, was it 2012? Yeah, maybe, I don't, or maybe 2013, 2012, something like that. That I would consider for me personally, that was like the start for security. And so what got me into it, it was like war games and CTFs, like challenges. And then how I got a job in the field was knowing a guy who knew a guy who recommended me to somebody who needed penetration testers. And so it was just like very lucky with like my networking, knowing somebody.
Yeah, it's nice to hear that. Yeah, you know someone, he knows someone, and he knows someone, and you finally found your way in. And
yeah, I wasn't looking for anything like that. Like at the time, this was just after my bachelor's degree. I was still like thinking about, should I go to university for a master's? Should I get a regular job? So I wasn't like actively looking for anything in security, at least not really. I did interview like with 2 places also, like, or casually ask about stuff, but this just happened accidentally. Like somebody was just looking for it, recommended me, and it just happened.
I think you are happy that you made the choice back then.
yeah, very happy.
And do you still play a lot of CTFs? The answer is of course yes, with Google CTF. But
yeah, actually, it's not yes. There was a time, or there were phases where I played a lot, like every weekend, like or every day almost. But the past like 3 years or 4 years, I've played very little CTF. Mainly it's just because I'm so busy with work and making like YouTube videos and stuff. I just barely get to do anything like else. So I force myself, and I want to play a few more CTFs. So, you know, I play CTFs where I know that they are really good, like the Google CTF. And for example, like this weekend, there's the Dragon CTF where, for example, Gynophage, I believe, is also organizing stuff. So that will for sure be a good CTF. And so I will plan some time to play that.
And do you also plan to join the Sun's Christmas CTF?
No, probably not. These, I never, like, I don't know, like Sans is like, you know, this corporate world of business education and classes and courses and stuff. And I have never had anything to do with that. Like that's not my world. And also not like, there's like different CTF worlds. Like nowadays we have a lot like companies that offer like CTF style challenges and boxes and whatever to hack around. But like the real or the origin of CTF is like these community driven events where CTF players create CTFs for other players.
Yeah.
It's a very small community and so forth. And like Suns is like I didn't even know like that Suns Christmas stuff also existed. But, it's just it's not the type of CTF that I play.
Yeah, I think it's a logical decision. I don't think it's not wrong. So
it's just different, like different worlds.
It's just what you want to do. So it's not. Yeah, and do you also recommend CTFs like for new people who have no experience in this field? Do you advise them to start with CTFs or perhaps?
So, I mean, now you need to answer me, like, what does no experience mean?
Yeah, for like you are in college following a cybersecurity field.
Yeah, so I was in college. I was not without experience. I was already programming for like 5 to 8 years. Like I had experience with programming Visual Basic, C++. I was making websites, with the different technologies. I understood HTTP requests and all that stuff. So is that no experience or is that experience? So the problem with these kind of questions is that I don't know where people are at, like what is really their experience like. And so do I recommend CTFs? Absolutely. CTFs were what got me really into security and where I learned the most from and where to this day I learned the most and what I use to stay up to date. But do I recommend it to a total beginner? Well, if you don't know any coding and like have no technical experience, then CTFs are like, you will have no clue what to do. It makes no sense. So for a total beginner, I would recommend like learn programming, do some Python programming, make some websites, make some mobile apps, play around with that kind of stuff. But if you already have some technical experience, some programming experience, maybe some basic XSS knowledge or SQL injection knowledge or something like this, go with CTFs. I think they're awesome.
I think that covers the question really well. Let's go to the next question. Yeah. What made you start with reverse engineering eventually? Probably the development part plays a big role in it.
No, actually, no. Reverse engineering came to me through CTFs or war games like CrackMe's and when you start with like the very basic first buffer overflow challenges, also the very early stuff I made videos about, then you have to you have to read assembly of small C programs and you need to understand them. And so that's like the very first step of kind of reverse engineering. I also wouldn't say that I'm very experienced with reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is just sometimes required to solve certain CTF tasks, and trying to solve those CTF tasks would make me get into reverse engineering. So it's just something I learned or did because challenges.
Well, if I see your videos sometimes, it is really magic. So it is. It's wonderful, and I hope I can do the same someday. But that's for the future.
It's all practice. Of course, you will be able to do it.
That's going to the following question. How can someone like me or someone else start with reverse engineering? Or perhaps are you suggesting some books for us, or is there some courses? Or
I have never learned with books. I've never learned really with courses. I mean, like, I assume you mean like paid courses or something like that.
Yeah, or just YouTube videos. Perhaps you followed someone on YouTube that you think, hey, he's really...
Yeah, exactly. Like, I make free videos about these kind of topics that hopefully would help you. That's what I make them for. But, I learned just practicing playing these war games and CTFs. So if you kind of want to start with it, I think, like obviously my video playlist, binary exploitation, is I think a good start for like basics of reverse engineering. And then you can just play these challenges yourself, like over the wire or Pico CTF challenges and so forth, and just learning those tools and playing around. In the end, it's all practice. Like somebody can tell you how reverse engineering is done. You can watch my video, but you will forget again. Like in the end, it's just you need to practice.
Yeah, that's totally what I agree on. But I was wondering, did you have someone like your own? You are for many people someone who they are watching. Did you in your younger years also have someone that you watched? Yeah, a lot.
It didn't really. You mean like YouTube or something
Yeah,
like
I
that?
don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever podcast, YouTube. I don't know. Did you follow
it didn't.
someone special?
Yeah, no, not really. It didn't really exist. Maybe or it probably existed, but I didn't really know. So I didn't follow anybody. And even like or let's say there were hacking YouTube channels and hacking videos, but I thought they were awful. Like I didn't learn anything. This was not the video content I wanted. It was like Kali tutorials, how to
Yeah.
do like Wi-Fi hacking stuff. And I thought that was so boring and it's not what I wanted to learn. Like, no offense, I understand like some people are interested in that. It's just not my content. It's not what I wanted to
It's not
watch.
your topic of interest. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I wanted to have like more technical stuff, deeper stuff going into these other topics, and it didn't really exist. Except GeoHot. GeoHot did live streaming of CTF challenges. He solved some over the wire challenges. That's what I saw, and that blew my mind because that was for the first time actually seeing what I wanted to see. And that also motivated me to start live streaming myself and then eventually like doing YouTube videos and so forth. Seeing him because I thought that was perfect. That was so awesome.
Yeah, it's a nice background story, and yeah, you you definitely need to keep it going with the videos. I think many people, especially me, are learning a lot from it, and I love watching it when I wake up in the morning with a cup of coffee, watching some binary things on my screen.
Cool.
Let's go to the next question. Yeah, you kindly answered it already. Do you perhaps know any good book, of course, for reverse engineering? But as you said, you didn't follow any book, of course. So yeah,
Okay.
we can just skip this one then. The next one, yeah. Do you have or do you follow some kind of special methodology for reverse engineering? Like you start with this and then go to this and then.
Hmm. So, I mean, reverse engineering can mean anything, right? Like reverse engineering a compiled C program is very different from reverse engineering a firmware on some kind of like ARM chip or whatever. It's like two completely different things. So the methodology extremely depends on what exactly you are reverse engineering. But what I can say, like as a general tip, is reverse engineering is not just reading assembly in like IDA Pro or Binary Ninja or Ghidra or something like this, right? It's not just statistical analysis. This is like one tool you can use in your toolbox to do reverse engineering, but there are tons of more ways how you can approach a reverse engineering target, and you always need to keep in mind what is it exactly that you want. Like, are you reverse engineering because you want to find a security issue? Then your methodology is different from I reverse engineer it to recover like a private algorithm like that is not public, or I reverse engineer this because I need to re-implement it in a different language so that it runs on a modern system. Like there are a lot of different motivations for why you want to reverse engineer something, and then the methodology changes. So don't think it's just IDA Pro. There are dynamic tools. There are, like running it. There are like a lot of different ways how you can actually analyze what a program does. And so, be creative and try to investigate the functionality of something.
Yeah. I was experiencing with Ghidra lately, but I need to dive deeper in what you just said. But did there was a time for you that you did some not static analysis, but the other one, yeah,
Dynamic?
dynamic analysis. That accidentally you ruined your VM because the malware has infected your.
Yeah, I've never done malware reverse engineering, so yeah, something like that never happened to me. But yeah, of course, that is obviously something that could happen if you do malware reversing.
And do you do you want to do it in the future, malware analysis or reverse engineering or?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, but I also feel like it's very complicated. I don't think like I have that much experience that I could actually like work in this field. But in general, it's a fun field, and I would like to make more videos about that and maybe, collaborate with actual malware researchers, showcasing like a certain way how they like figured out something or so. Yeah.
Yes.
There's actually, I can recommend, there's another YouTube channel called Stack Smashing or Ghidra Ninja. He did some videos on reverse engineering some malware stuff with Ghidra, and he has generally a few more reverse engineering videos. He's amazing. That's the same guy, Stack Smashing Ghidra Ninja. He just changed his name recently.
Oh, sorry guys, it's just the same name.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing this channel. I think I already following Gita Nia, so I think I already have.
Yeah, it's the same guy. He just changed his name.
And great to hear that. Yeah, you want to do malware reverse engineering too in the future, and I hope you will pull it off. Can't wait for those videos, and I know someone who also can't wait. Let's go to the next question. Yeah, I think you already kindly answered it, but how often do you play a CTF? If you say it on monthly basis?
Monthly basis, not even like once, like every other month or so, like on average, maybe in the past like 2 to 3 years, unfortunately. Yeah, so not that often.
That's a long time, but yeah, you can do a CTF this Friday or Saturday.
Yeah. So like time is like the huge factor for everything. Yeah. First of all, you need a lot of time to learn stuff, and CTFs take a lot of time. So when I was a student, when my responsibilities were just going to class and work, maybe sometimes a little bit, I had so much more time to do like CTFs. But now my days are so full with just being an adult, taking care of stuff, walking my dog, working to earn money, doing YouTube videos, and all the other like overhead and stuff around it. It's just like time is lacking now.
Don't ruin my future. I'm still a student, and I was thinking that after college I had more time, but yeah, it seems that I will have less time.
If you don't work, then you have more time.
Well, I was always telling my own that after college I don't need to do any documentation or any kind of school project, so I can finally put my evening time on Hack the Box or something. I don't know.
Yeah, sure, that can work for sure.
I hope I have more time if I work full time, but yeah, let's see. Let's go to the next. Yeah, how was the Google CTF? You made a really long video about the Google CTF, but yeah, how was your experience? And yeah, did you like it? Of course, I think.
Yeah, it was. It was fun. Google CTF is always high quality CTF, and that the Google CTF finals, the unofficial finals, kind of, they were really interesting and new and different. So that was just very fun. But it was also not really my like, what's it called? It was not my. We didn't succeed or we didn't play well because of me. Like my teammates, they did everything. Like they made this event fun. My teammates implemented all the cool tools and everything. I was just like a bystander,
just,
having fun in the end. Yeah, exactly. I was just doing videos.
Yeah, I was watching your video. I didn't see it the entire video, but I was 1 hour or 1.5.
Sorry.
No problem. But yeah, they really made a great CTF. It's the game and yeah, the maps. It's
so much effort. Yeah,
it was really like whoa, that's an entirely different view of CTF than you normally see. Like some small challenge and you need to solve challenge, but this was just one big game and you need to work in a team and one does this, one does that, and yeah, it was really nice to see that teamwork in a CTF.
Yeah.
My next question, you already answered. What are you doing for a living? But yeah, you said it at the beginning of this stream.
Yeah.
The next question, you already mentioned that time is an issue for you. So, yeah, how much time do you spend on learning new things with your job, streams, letting the dog out, and whatever you are doing further?
Yeah. again, there's a world of things that I'm learning that are not IT security, and then there's a world, of course, of IT security stuff I'm learning. I want to constantly learn. Like, I never want to have the feeling that I've like learned everything. I never want to become complacent and think I'm an expert now I don't need to learn anymore. That's very, very important to me. So, by reading Twitter, reading like write-ups from other people, watching maybe videos of, nowadays we have a world of like YouTubers and stuff like this that actually make content, so I can also watch stuff. Like, I constantly want to learn, and of course my job is in IT security, and so I always try to push myself too. On every project, every work project I do, there's some small new thing that I will learn, and I will make sure that I have this learning experience. It's very important to me to always learn. It doesn't have to be a lot of learning. Like, I mean, I don't need to like sit down and say I'm learning now. It's just like at the end of the day, I want to have the feeling, hey, you know what? I did learn a small new thing there, and that's like important to me. It doesn't matter how small it is. It's just important I keep, always accumulating more stuff.
I think that's a nice, nice skill, nice thing to have to follow.
Oh yeah, and what I want to say, like, it doesn't always have to be like super focused on security. Even learning something about programming, about a different programming language or some framework still benefits me indirectly for security. For example, if I do programming, for example, I will learn and practice software engineering programming, and maybe I learn a new framework I haven't used before. And then in the future, maybe I have a client that uses this framework for a website, and now I know everything about this framework, or at least have a good starting point of assessing the security of it. That's why it's, that is still beneficial. And then, of course, there are even things that have nothing to do with IT that I just want to learn or want to do stuff. I don't know. We all have to eat, so cooking new meals is fun, and that's also learning something.
Yeah, I think the skill or the thing you say about learning, and it doesn't really need infosec security, but yeah, like cooking a new meal or reading a book about why we sleep or something. Yeah, I think it's great to follow that discipline, and I hope you can follow it for the rest of your life. But I think that will be fine.
Thanks.
Yeah. How are you managing your time right now with everything? Like, do you have any special schedule, or it's just like I wake up in the morning and I do this and I do that. Oh, I have so much time left. Oh, I do this and.
That's basically it. I'm terrible with scheduling and planning my time. I'm procrastinating a lot. Like, I watch a lot of dumb YouTube videos all day or Twitch streams and so forth. Like, I waste so much time on stupid stuff. I work from home. I work as a freelancer, so I don't have to go to an office. I don't have like 9 to 5 job or whatever. I can work kind of almost whenever I want. I can make breaks whenever I want. So it's very fluid. Like, I wake up, I know my responsibilities. Like, I know I have a work project. I should work like 8 hours today spent on this thing. But if I like waste my morning watching YouTube, that just means I have to then like sit there until midnight or so, like doing that stuff. It's very fluid and whatever like fits in.
Sounds really an amazing job you have. Working from home, not going to office.
Yeah.
Making.
Very privileged. I'm very happy about this. Without that job, I also couldn't do YouTube. Like, it would have never been possible to spend this much time on making videos with a full-time job. The only reason why I'm able to make YouTube videos is because I don't work full-time. I only take on projects, like, I don't know, 2/3 of the time or so that I have like 1/3 time left for making YouTube videos.
I think that is quite amazing time management that you do there with working half of the full-time part, and I think many people will like a job like you, working from home, waking up at 9 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock, and then traveling for 1 hour with the train or car.
Exactly. Yeah, very, very lucky, very happy about that.
And what are your future plans, or do you have any future plans?
There are some plans in the making, some stuff I'm working on. That is a bit like YouTube and LiveOverflow related. Like I did, you have to create a company to earn money with like YouTube and stuff. And there are some ideas to kind of like expand this a little bit. I do feel like I'm in a unique position and I have a unique opportunity to maybe make that even my job somehow. But like right now, I don't earn enough from it to make it my job. But there are some ideas I have that I want to like work on and see if it could work. With some additional stuff in that direction. Other than that, like the big future plans are just like I want, like I'm a freelancer. I don't get a retirement later. I don't like I'm not employed and whatever. If I lose my projects, I lose my job basically, right? I have no job security. So my big future plans are somehow getting financially stable and secure that I don't have to worry about financial stuff. I'm almost 30, so now like the serious life starts, and I have to worry about my future and stuff.
Well, 30 is not that old.
It's not that old, but now I should start thinking about that stuff before it's too late.
Yeah. I agree on that. But I think you're doing fine with your YouTube videos and your job, and I think you will be all right in the future. I think you don't need to worry.
I think I will be all right too. Yeah, that's true.
And I hope you can pull up your plan with the own company and your plans with YouTube and your channel. So I hope that will work and you get a stable financial plan in the future. Let's go to the next question. Is there something in the past that you did, and if you could redo it? Yeah, if there's something that you would redo.
I mean, I certainly have like so many like interactions with people where after the fact, I lay in bed and think, shit, I should have like said something else or whatever. Like that's something very typical of me. So I wish thousands of conversations or hundreds of conversations I had that I would like to redo because I was so awkward or something. But other than that, like I never made like any like bad life decisions that ruined everything or so. Like even the stuff that turned out not so great or were hurtful or painful or so, in the end I feel like made me to the person I am today. They were not like really that bad, right? So there's nothing I feel like my life made like a terrible turn because of something I did. So that's not really something I want to redo.
You're fine. So yeah, I think that is the right answer. Yeah. You aren't in a bad situation right now, so yeah, nothing to complain.
Yeah.
And you were also talking that you have a dog. What kind of dog? If you want to tell us, I don't. Maybe it's private.
I cannot tell you because I don't know. He's like a rescue street dog, so like everything is in it. So he doesn't have like a pure race. He's a rescue street dog, so I don't know what's in it.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Well, the last question before we jump to the 5 questions of shame. Do you have any tips or advice for the viewers who want to start with hacking? Or
I think that a lot of beginners are looking for like really guidance and hand-holding in learning IT security, and they want like courses and very structured learning materials. And I understand that this is very appealing and that you like to spend money on that, but I don't think it will actually like help you in any way. The real learning comes from somehow finding the self-motivation to do that stuff on your own, practice a lot, and CTFs are a great way of doing that. And you should rather like spend your time and money on like other things. I know it's difficult to motivate yourself, and maybe security is not for you, right? Like if you cannot motivate yourself to play CTFs on your own and you feel like you need to pay money to be motivated, then maybe security is not for you, and that's all right too. Then try something else. But that's kind of like my advice. At least that's how it was for me. Like I always also project my own experience onto other people. Maybe other people are differently and they really, really need that. And they know that they succeed with those courses, then, go for it. But I think there are a lot of people that are like aimlessly, have no clue, and think that these courses help them, then they buy them and then it doesn't help them at all. And so I kind of want everybody to very closely reflect on themselves. What is it that they really need? Are they paying money because they think it helps them, or are they paying money because they know it will help them?
I think that's a great answer, and I think I think it's good advice that people need to understand what they really want, and if a course that is paid really helps them, or they only want to try it because they think I can do it, it will help me, and at the end it will not help them, and it's a waste of money. So I think it's good advice, and I hope the viewers are happy with the advice. And let's now jump to the 5 questions of shame before we dive into the questions of the people.
I'm nervous. I already tell you I will evade those questions hard.
They aren't that bad. Let's go to the first one. Which hero will you be? You can choose any hero from television shows, strips, video games, whatever hero do you want to be?
A hero. Oof. Well, that's a difficult one. I'm very not familiar with those names of those superheroes. So maybe can I answer what kind of superpower I would like? And there's certainly a superhero that has that superpower. I just don't know his name.
Yeah, sure.
I like to be, what is it called? To be invisible.
Yeah, there is a superhero with invisible, but I don't know his name too.
Yeah, there must be. There's always a superhero with invisibility. Yeah, that would be cool.
You will be the Invisible Man. We call the hero the Invisible Man.
Exactly.
Let's go to the next question. If you can choose 2 parents from any movie, series, show, television, game, whatever, which 2 parents would you choose?
Wow, that's an interesting question. And that's a tough one. Now I have to think about like shows and stuff where I saw parents. Ooh, that's difficult. There are so many wonderful families on television.
You can go for Will Smith or I don't know. James Bond.
No, I don't know. Oh, you mean like just regular, like not even a family on in the movie, like that is actually a family, just like
no.
Some people that I would like as parents.
You can choose any person you want. It doesn't matter. They don't need to be a family in the show. Just.
Gotcha. I see. Oh, that's tough. That's really hard. But an interesting question. I've never thought about like characters that way. If I would, because like having them as parents requires a very specific set of like their characters, right? It's not, you don't want them as a friend. You don't want just to meet them. It's about, you want them as parents. So it's like really hard to think about the qualities, what's important about a parent. Sorry, I don't have a good answer for you. I would have to think about this more smartly. But the first name that pops in my head is like Leslie from Parks and Recreation as a mom. I think she could be a cool mom. I think she would be a good mom.
Well, you can choose her only, so you have 1 parent.
Yeah, that sounds good for now. I trust she could do it.
She will do it good.
Yeah.
Now let's go to the next question. What will be your weapon of choice? You can choose any weapon.
Can I have
it can also be
a wizard's wand? Does that exist? Is that a weapon, or does it have to be a real life
No,
weapon?
it can fantasy weapons too. So a wizard wand can too.
Yeah, like a Harry Potter,
exactly.
A wand.
Yeah, good choice. Let's go to the 4th question. In a game of scissors, paper, and rock, what will be your first choice?
Rock.
Everyone chose rock. Or scissors. Nobody has chosen paper, so yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that day when someone will choose paper.
Yeah, you collect the data, and then once you have a big tournament, then you win.
He won. He chose paper. Now, let's go to the last question. What will be your ultimate hacker name? You are the first person on Earth, who can choose a hacker name, what will it be? Everything is free.
Yeah, right, because then I can choose a name that is really cool from other people. Ooh, that's also a good question. Very interesting. Oh, there's so many cool hacker names that obviously I can't take.
Ghidra 1337.
No. It would be like, there's like, I don't know how, maybe I pronounce it wrong, but there's this guy, his nickname is Gynophage. It's like a biological small like thing. I don't know, Wikipedia it. And I think that's such a cool name for a hacker name, and obviously somebody else has it taken already. So I would go with that. I also don't even know how to write it. Gynophage. Yeah, no, Gynophage. That sounds about right.
You mean the one who created the Google CTF China view? I don't know how you pronounce it, but
no, that's Ginvile.
Ginvile.
No, it's Gynophage. It's Gynophage or something like that.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, so.
I think. Hopefully, I didn't misspell that.
Well, yeah, I think it will be a great hacker name, and yeah, perhaps in the future when it will be available and you are fast, you can take it. Yeah, well, that's were the 5 questions of shame. So you survived it.
Oh no, it's not.
Oh.
Okay, I need to correct. I just googled really quick. His nickname is Gynophage, which is a play on the name of, I think, Bacteriophage, and Bacteriophage is like the cool thing, but his name is Gynophage. Anyway, Bacteriophage is so cool. So it would be some kind of play on phage or two. Bacteriophage, Gynophage, yeah, something like that.
I think they are great hacker names. I've never heard of them, so yeah, it makes them unique and special.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this was the question of shame. You survived them. Let's see if there are any questions from the audience. I saw 3 questions so far. The first question is: I want to start my career in cybersecurity. Can you suggest me how to plan it from beginner to pro? I don't know how you can plan that exactly, but.
Exactly. Like my response would be, don't plan it. That makes no sense. I understand. I understand. I was there too. I also wanted hand holding. I wanted somebody to tell me, but it won't work. Just have fun. Like do something that is fun. If you see a CTF or a game like that seems fun to you, just play it and play those challenges. And if something else pops up that seems fun, do it. If you see some kind of interesting write-up or a bug bounty thing, like go for it. Do what's fun to you and just jump around and figure it out somehow. I made a video, the secret step-by-step guide to learn hacking, which is like a clickbait dumb video, but basically I'm just telling you in there that it makes no sense to make like a plan like this, and reasons for why I think it makes no sense. So I think you should just figure out what's fun to you and spend your time on that topic. If you hear something cool and it motivates you to look into it, go for that. And you keep doing that. You keep repeating that.
I think that is a great answer, and I hope he is satisfied with it. Let's go to the next one. Are you still interested in game development? And if he ever looked into Godot, open source game engine?
Yeah. I'm still kind of interested in game dev. I mean, I did game development to create like an MMO hacking challenge for last year's CTF that we organized, or this year's was actually beginning of this year. So I still think it's fun, but it's something I do like on the side. Game development and getting good at game development requires also hundreds and thousands of hours, and clearly I couldn't go into this field professionally now. It makes no sense like to approach this from a professional angle, but as a thing to do on the side as a hobby, it's still fun, and I would like to do it a bit more. But time is a problem. But yeah, still interested. And have I looked into Godot? Not really. Before I chose which framework or platform to use, I did think about Godot, but in the end, I figured that Unity would be easier for me to get into and learn. And so I'm still sticking with Unity.
I think that answered his question. Let's go to the following. What's your preferred choice? Command and control framework. Covenant, Cobalt Strike, Metasploit, Mythic, Silver. Any?
I mean, I know Metasploit, I know Cobalt Strike exists. The rest I've never heard about. I have no clue that I didn't even know that people have a preferred command and control framework. I never needed that for my job. Like not even once, was never something I needed. And I feel like if that's something I would need, I would never use a framework. I just would write it myself. I feel like if that's actually something I like use professionally, then I would implement it myself. I know Metasploit, like there are some cool tools and stuff happening. I did like the OSCP, so I understand the functionality of Metasploit and stuff, which is very useful. But I feel like if that is the thing I would earn my money with, like doing pen testing on that level, I feel like I would want to invest into my own tools, just because them not being detectable by standard antivirus that have like signatures for all these kind of tools here. I feel like I would just want my own smart, like pluggable framework about that. I think you could learn a lot if you try to write your own one. Don't release it. Maybe could get you in trouble depending on the country you are from. But I feel like developing it yourself, that would be like a very good like project.
I think that will answer his question, and I think making your own framework will indeed make you better in writing and learning the process. Let's go to the next question. What's your opinion that open source offensive tools enable bad actors, like Metasploit being used in malware, or even Cobalt Strike being used in malware? Some think that offensive tools should be more tightly controlled.
Yeah, that basically goes into what I just said a moment ago about like not necessarily maybe open sourcing it. Very complex topic. I have a lot of opinions about this, and like I have arguments for and against it. I actually don't really know where I stand. Generally, you would have to show me a project and I can tell you based on my feelings if I think it's fine to have this open, and I have sometimes feelings of things that shouldn't be open. I made a video about like there was some YouTube drama going on about like YouTube videos getting blocked that were about like hacking content. And I made a case there, and I talked about how some videos just make no sense to be public. And I understand why Google wants to block them. For example, those were videos about like how to do phishing and how to do like Google phishing. And it like baffles me that people think that Google would want like a step-by-step explanation for idiots, for everybody to just like do like Google phishing. Because like my argument is not that this is censoring or that this is like hiding information. My argument is just that this enables idiots. Like the stupidest people are enabled by this, because every two-brained cell organism understands that making a phishing page is just web development. And so the actual information, like the real information, the actual knowledge behind it that you want is web development skills. So the best phishing tutorial is a web development tutorial. So the knowledge is not hidden away. The knowledge is not censored. I'm telling you, the knowledge about phishing pages is to learn web development. That's it. And so I think the step-by-step tutorials about like how to do phishing is like dumb, and you might even get into legal trouble with like hacking regulations. Now this is like the YouTube case now about like coding stuff. I mentioned all of this because I feel a similar way of certain like hacking tools. It's like there's a very fine line between it enabling absolute idiots to cause harm versus it's a legitimate like useful thing to have. For example, there are these kind of remote access malware tools, for example, for phones. And if you have a very easily deployable malware for like Android phones with like a backend to like track the phone where it's installed and everything like this, I think that's bad, terrible, should not be online, because we know from experience that people use this to abuse like their partner. They install this on their girlfriend's phone to track them and to like, to stalk them and so forth. And it causes so much harm. And so that makes no sense. But if it's like in a more professional environment, not easily deployable, not by idiots, that you actually need some technical experience to set this up, then I think it's fine again. Like it's a very fine line, and I have very different opinions. Like I couldn't give you a clear answer. It should be okay or not. Every individual project I have to weigh on a scale if it's like positive, if it's beneficial or not to have public. I hope that makes sense.
I think your answer is very clear. I think it's enough. I think he will understand. And I totally agree that a video about how to fish Google is not something that YouTube wants, of course. Let's go to the next question. Do you still use Python C for most things? Have you learned any Go or Rust or other new programming language?
Yeah, I still use like Python scripting. Like that's the go-to language. I basically write everything in. I do, even if I do like web development stuff. Like Python is like my go-to weapons choice. Sometimes I use C, but then there has to be a really good reason to use C, mostly for speed or so. I have not really spent the time of learning Go or Rust to a level that I can like actually write useful stuff. I have learned these languages to a point where I can read them and I can reason about them and I can understand them, but not to a level where I could actually like develop really some useful larger application or so. But I would like to. I do think that's very, very useful skills, and I sometimes feel like I should learn them more. So I'm just kind of like, there will be some time where I feel like I want to write a project in these kind of languages at some point for sure.
Thank you for answering the question. I think, he is satisfied. Next question. That's the next question. Do you have any preferred automated tools, scanners for static application scanning, SAST, like SonarCube or VeraCode?
No, I don't even know them. Like I don't know. I don't know what they do. I never use them.
You mostly do just manual.
Yeah. I have to say I want to use a few more tools. There are some very interesting things like CodeQL, for example, or Yearn. It's another like tool. These are like tools that help you to understand code better. Those are projects, and I guess VeraCode maybe does that too, maybe SonarQube too, I don't know, where you can kind of like ask the engine, hey, I have this dangerous function, can you show me all the input places? Like where is the code actually coming from? Like these are kind of useful tools I would like to have for like code reviews. That would be very helpful, and I don't know really a lot of tools like that, but also a lot of IDEs kind of offer this. If you have like Python code in a good IDE, you can like point your cursor at the function and say, show me the references to this function, and then you just manually go back, find all the references of it being used. So like nice. There are a lot of tools like this, but I would like to learn a few more of these tools. But I'm not a big fan of like automated scanning, like just run, tell me all the issues or something. I'm not a fan of that.
I agree with you on that. It makes the fun, more or less, if you do it automatically instead of manually go to the lines and you find something, and then it's like, yes, I found something, instead of, oh, the tool found something. Yeah, great, continue. Thank you for answering. There are 2 more questions, then we will finish this. As someone who does application testing, I don't think. As someone who does application testing, what new technologies have you found to be more likely to be misconfigured or insecure, like Docker, grep, SQL, Kubernetes? What do you mostly see?
I guess GraphQL, because that is the mostly one that like actually has like security impact, because it is user controlled. Like it handles user input in some way with GraphQL queries. So there might be something be misconfigured, but it's also kind of hard to misconfigure it. Like you really have to make kind of like some weird mistakes. So I think that's more like it. Docker, for example, you use like mostly on the back end, right? There's not much you can misconfigure, except maybe you set it up in a way that allows like privilege escalations or so, and that can happen if you require some weird Docker features that you enable, then some privilege stuff, and that bites you in the ass. But that's also like very defense in depth, where it's not really the first layer of defense anyway. So yeah, and Kubernetes is something I'm actually very lacking at. Somebody else on the team typically looks at Kubernetes stuff. I couldn't really figure out if stuff is misconfigured. But typically these things are like more like on the server side, right? So it's not like a lot of stuff necessarily that can go wrong or too wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good answer, and I hope he's happy with it. And I've never done any Docker testing, so yeah,
I would actually like to add one thing. I think that especially with Docker and Kubernetes, I actually see that it has more positive impact. I feel like stuff that I see using it typically just like is a bit more isolated, even though it's not really an isolation thing, but just I guess the way of developing and using it makes it so that you keep isolating stuff more than you would typically do in a very traditional server setup. So I would generally say that from my experience, having seen a world before Docker and having now a world with Docker, I feel like all the Docker applications I'm seeing are typically just a bit better security-wise than the older stuff.
It's hard to do it wrong. Yeah, thank you for answering. I see there are 2 more questions, so I chose one of them. And as I already asked a lot of questions from one guy, I will give the other one also an opportunity. So the last question for today is, someone is asking if you have any recommendations for a project, what he can do. So what will be a good project for?
I mean, the best project is the project you have fun with. Yeah. So whatever that is, it doesn't matter. Just to give you some ideas, maybe inspirations, what could be fun projects. Let's say you play League of Legends, then a fun project could it be to figure out and look into the League of Legends Riot APIs and how to interact with them, read some player data, whatever, like write yourself a tracker of your games and I don't know, things like that. That could be fun. If you like web bug bounty stuff, write your own scanner, like re-implement something that like Burp or Fuff is like doing with scanning, like a Dirbuster kind of style thing. That could be a fun project and you will learn a lot with it. Maybe, make it some unique features that like are useful to you. That I think that is a good project. I just see in chat you mean like as a final year undergrad student as a project. I guess that's harder because that might need to be something more bigger. I was more thinking of like smaller fun projects.
It probably has some conditions from the school.
Yeah, that's a bit harder. I always also struggled with these bigger projects because some are too big and you will kind of like fail and struggle. They are too much for school, and then other stuff is like maybe too little. That's very difficult.
Yeah, I think maybe a kind of combination of what you just said with the projects, and if he can check the requirements from his college, and if he can perhaps make the project a little bit bigger, depends on the requirements. If you can add functionality.
A project I did in my bachelor's degree when I had to do a project was basically like a learning platform. I created, you can imagine it something like Hack the Box or so. You go on a site you deploy your thing, and then you can click on a button. You can deploy a challenge. Like it would deploy like some vulnerable FTP server, and then you could like hack that FTP server. And so it was like, it was a platform. There was like hosting involved, like web engineering, and then there was involved like, challenges involved. I used like real applications that had security issues that you need to hack. So, I had to research that and then integrate it so that you could launch them, like things like this. Like that was a good project, I think. So maybe that's also something for you.
Yeah, I'm also a final year student, and maybe I can tell you my project that I'm doing right now. And my project is building a small Active Directory lab, consists of 6 machines, and the meaning behind the lab is that if someone wants to join my company as a pen tester, he needs to do the assessment first, and we can check if he is experienced enough to let him pass. That's my final project. So perhaps you can do something that way too if you want.
Yeah, sounds good. That's a good one.
You can do whatever you want. Just check the requirements from your college, and I think you can just always make it a little bit bigger as school wants, or add some functionality. I think I hope it answered your question. I think this was the session. I think we can finish it up. So I would really to thank you for joining me and giving me this opportunity to talk with you.
Of course.
And I hope you liked it too, talking.
Yeah, there were some good questions.
Thank you, and thank you that you liked them. And I don't know what time it is there, but I can see it's or morning or it's late in the evening.
I'm in Germany. I'm right next to you.
Then it's the same time here. So you're probably going or to hack some hours, or you're going to prepare for sleep soon.
I have some video editing to do. My next video is way overdue, and I probably won't finish it tonight either.
Then I wish you good luck with the video editing, and I hope it won't be too late, so you sleep enough.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Well, again, thank you a lot, and I wish you a great evening, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite, and all the best.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice evening, and I hope I speak you soon, perhaps in the future, and I will keep watching your videos, of course, so keep it going.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, everyone, thanks for watching to this amazing session. Today I won't stream another hour that I normally do, as I have some college work to do right now, so my apologies. I hope you all enjoy it, and I see you the next time. So have a nice morning, afternoon, or evening, and